Hello and welcome to Dave Makes Stuff. We've majorly reshaped the back end of our off-road Audi TT project, but that made the spare wheel homeless and it's got to go somewhere. Like, how about... No. Hey, that could work. So then I just need something to bolt it to. So I took a trip to the local metal yard, which is full of all sorts of exciting things. 3 foot high intercooler? Probably not. This is what we need. A brake disc has the right bolt pattern for the wheel, and I can hack the middle out with an angle grinder, of course. And then once Julia's cleaned it up on the lathe, we can weld it up into a spare wheel carrier and mount it on the car. So here we are, one mount. Now it's time to start bending metal to form the rest of it. The aim here is to match the curvature of the centre we've just turned, so we're bending at 1 centimetre intervals. Because we can't get the bent sheet back in the bender, if it's not right first time, we have to adjust it with a hammer. Happily and perhaps surprisingly, it is right first time, which means it's welding time! And yes, the welder does go to 11, and no, that's not why I bought it. Thick mild steel sheet is great stuff to practice on, so Julia's welding around the inside and then I go around the outside for strength. And then once these two are welded together, I can weld some wheel nuts on so that we've actually got something to bolt the wheel to. So that brings us here, and you can start to see the thing taking shape. Next, I'm using a profile gauge to measure the back of the Audi, and then I can trim the mount to match it. Now we repeat the whole process to make and weld on a second mount leg. And here I'm making a quick cardboard template just to make sure that both sides match. Which of course they do perfectly, first time, right? So, now we can tack weld it in place and check that everything fits, moves as it should, and you can open and close the boot. So this was one of those moments where you've basically got two options. If you want option A, Dave gives up and starts again. Rewind to the beginning of the video. If you want option B, Dave picks up an angle grinder, charges at the problem head on, and we'll figure the rest out later. Keep watching. And would you ever believe it, it was the option that involved an angle grinder. You might call this really tight, I call it really precise. Clearly 2 parallel sheets are never going to be stiff enough to stop the wheel wobbling all over the place. So here I'm starting to weld in some stiffening pieces. Folding in steps and angles is another really good way to add stiffness. It's a good idea to tack the sheet in a few places before welding to stop it moving too much. Now we've got our basic mount, and well, we could stop here, but it wobbles like a monster because it's clearly not stiff enough yet. So in this next shot I've added a couple of braces that run across the width of the vehicle, and now I'm just spraying it with some etch primer to stop the welds rusting before we paint the whole vehicle later. And there we have it, one mounted spare wheel. Goodness only knows where the number plate goes, but we'll sort that out later. It's definitely more off-road and less autobahn. Well, that's all for this update. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If so, please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.